Yes.
Reproductive system. Who can read the text for us?
Me.
Yes, Laith.
Sexual reproduction involves the formation of a
Mhm.
diploid zygote from two haploid sex cells or gametes
Mhm.
through fertilization. The roles of a male in sexual reproduction are to produce sperm cells, the male gametes, and to deliver the sperm cells to the female reproductive system to fertilize an egg cell. The female gamete, two egg-shaped testes or testicles, are the gamete-producing organs of the male reproductive system. The testes are located in the scrotum, an external skin sac. The testes first form inside the abdominal cavity, then move down into the scrotum either before or shortly after birth. The normal body temperature of 37 Celsius, which is 98 Fahrenheit, is too high for sperm to complete development. In the scrotum, the temperature is about 3 Celsius lower than it is in the rest of the body, making the scrotum an ideal location for sperm production.
Thank you, Ahmed. Okay. According to the text, can we answer the following questions? So starting with the first question, what is the main idea of the first sentence of this passage? The first sentence says sexual reproduction involves the formation of diploid zygote from haploid sex cells or gametes through fertilization. So what is the main idea of the first sentence?
Definition of sexual reproduction.
Okay.
Brief summary.
Okay. So in order to form diploid cells, we need to fuse what?
Lower temperature.
Okay. Before we speak about the first sentence only, Farid. So the first
male and female.
Male and female. They're speaking basically about fertilization. So the main idea of the first sentence is fertilization, which is the fusion of two haploid cells to form one diploid cell. So if you're gonna type the answers or write the answers, so fertilization. Okay. Meanwhile, think about the second question. Fertilization is the fusion of two haploid cells to produce a diploid cell.
Can I answer the second one?
Yes, go ahead. According to the passage.
The role of the male the male in reproduction is to produce sperm, which is the male gametes.
Okay, to produce sperms, which is the male gametes. Very good. Can you type it in the text and on the screen? Yeah.
How?
Annotations. You know how to go to annotations? Are you using your phone or your computer?
Laptop.
Okay, so go to annotations.
Where's it?
View options.
At the top of your screen, there is option.
View options.
View options. Oh, okay.
Annotate. Yes.
Text.
You put the text in the space and you type the answer.
Okay, sure.
Type. Who can do the next question? Meanwhile, Ahmed will be typing the answer of the second question. What are the testes? The answers are in the graph.
Can I answer, sir?
In the paragraph. Yes.
Can I answer?
Go ahead.
It's two egg-shaped testes that the gametes producing organs of the male reproductive system.
Very good. Type it down.
I'm using my phone.
Okay. Who's using a laptop?
I can type it.
Okay. Type it. Go ahead.
There's no space.
Yeah, scroll down.
Okay. Are you done with the first two questions? 3, 4. So testes are two egg-shaped cell structures that produce the male gametes. Who can answer number 4? What's the scrotum? It's located in the paragraph.
Can you go to the passage? Can you please go up?
I'll scroll up. So the scrotum is what?
It shelters the testes.
External skin sac.
Yeah.
So scrotum is an external skin sac. Why the highlighter isn't working? Type. So it's there, boys. The scrotum is an external skin sac. So number 4 is external
okay.
sac. I'll underline the answer. Okay, so external skin sac. That's the scrotum. That's concerning the paragraph. Next question.
I think we answered this. This
We
whole
answered
page.
We did this page.
The whole
Yeah,
page.
yeah.
Great. Okay. Where
So
do
this.
tests
Oh no,
form?
this.
Okay, number 5. Where do tests form?
The abdominal cavity.
Very good. They are formed in the abdominal cavity. Then they move outside to
Scrotum.
to scrotum. Very good. To outside the body. Why is the scrotum an ideal location? We answered that last time. Why is it ideal?
Yeah.
For sperm
Yes,
production?
because
temperature.
it's 3
Because it
degrees
needs a low
less
temperature.
Lower
temperature.
It's ideal for producing sperm.
for
develop.
sperm development.
Sir, it has a temperature of 3 Celsius.
Yes.
ليش بتصرخ؟
Right. Number 7. Appreciate your participation, ya Farid. Number 7. Another name for testis is
Scrotum, testicles, scrotum.
no testicles. Number C. Okay, let's do the labeling. Number.
استاذ بالله لا تجيبوا لنا هيك صور في الاكزام استاذ.
I know, but I wish I can help you.
شو
I don't
شو وضع
know.
الصور عندكم انتم؟
I
ما
don't
عندكم
know.
صور شو؟
Sir, as much as you pay for school, you get the services. يعني you not go to شويفات. Maybe they will print it for you in 3D.
شو هذا صورة؟
Yalla, go ahead. Stop complaining. G is what? Start somewhere. You will get to know the rest.
Scrotum. G is.
Yeah,
scrotum.
G is the scrotum. F.
Okay. Whoever
testes.
has the answer of G, who has the answer of G? Type it. Who has an answer? Tell me.
أحمد دري
A
type.
is urinary bladder.
Okay. So type it, guys. Use the
G is
text.
scrotum.
I want you to
I'll
type it
answer.
on the screen.
I'll answer. Oh, oops. I'll answer D. D is the urethra. Urethra. There
Yes.
you go.
Urethra.
Sir, A is urinary bladder.
A is urinary bladder. Very good. See, now you're figuring them out. You were complaining.
A is the bladder,
B
right?
is vas deferens. Yes.
اه البلادر A is the bladder.
H is the blue butteral. H is the blue butteral.
Bulbourethral.
Sir, I think
Urethral.
I is the seminal vesicle
Epididymis.
gland.
Guys, I only see urethra on the screen. Can you type the other?
On it.
He didn't mean type it in the chat. He meant type it on the hub.
B is vas deferens.
B is the vas deferens. Very
I
good.
is the seminal vesicle.
I is seminal vesicle. Excellent.
I'll type it.
Where is the
I want
prostate
you to type
gland?
it on the screen because I'm recording this. This will be uploaded to the school website. So maybe later, if you want to revise, you can take a look at the video.
H is
H is.
ball butteral. I don't know how to spell ball butteral. Wait.
Bulbo. It's easy.
Bulbo.
B-U-L-B-O.
صح؟
Urethral. Yes, excellent.
Sir, can I say B is seminal vesicle?
B is seminal vesicle. No. I is seminal vesicle. B is the vas deferens or the sperm duct. Narendra answered that, I guess.
D is the prostate.
Yes.
C is.
Yeah, it's the prostate.
B is B is the sperm duct.
Oh, sperm duct.
F is the epididymis.
B is
C
the sperm duct or the epididymis.
Vas
Sorry,
deferens.
not the epididymis, the
C.
vas deferens.
Sir, F is the epididymis.
Epididymis is
Triple C.
the one
F is the epididymis.
near the balls. Near the balls.
Epididymis. Okay, I don't know how to
F,
spell that.
actually, no, not the epididymis. F is the
Testicles.
testicles.
Testes.
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 أستاذ كيف نفرق نعرف الصورة
There's
إذا
no
عم
label
يحكي
for epididymis here.
I think
What-
Oh, look, we're done.
What's your question, Hamad or Ahmed?
how do we know if they're talking about the testicles or the epididymis?
Testicles or epididymis?
this
F is the testicle, the big one, but the zone next to it, who can label it?
I labeled it, Mister.
I'll color it in red. This region next to the testicle, here, right here, is the epididymis.
Okay.
That's the epididymis. The big region, I will color it in green. This region is the testis. So testis in green and epididymis is in red. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Thank you.
See, you're capable of answering or labeling such figure. Why do you cry about it?
لا استاذ اللي صار السنه الماضيه مسخره تبع
صراحة يعني
I
والله
remember one.
حرام يعني شو هذا الصورة؟
That was a virus.
I wish it was my fault, but it's a school photocopy machine. Everything sucks there. That's
ممكن صورة أقول لكم صورة هيك فيها خير أستاذ تنفعنا.
مع استاذ احنا تبع الهارت we typed on Google worst heart image وطلع لنا اول شيء.
بتذكر. You showed it to me during the class. Anyways, that's concerning the worksheet for the male reproductive system. I guess that we still have time to start with the female reproductive system.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking or waiting for. Right. So, female reproductive system. Let me clear everything. Okay.
حكمة أنسر.
Female reproductive system.
ان شاء الله اسكت.
Penis? What? Miranda?
لا فتنا بالصح أستاذ إحنا هون بنفهم.
هون بلشتوا تركزوا. طيب نشوف how much do you know about female reproductive system? What do you know about female reproductive system? What's the function of the female reproductive system?
Produce eggs.
Produce eggs,
Make
ovulation.
babies.
Produce
babies.
eggs, make babies.
They don't have a penis.
Sexual pleasure.
Other than sexual intercourse, guys, we're not talking about sexual intercourse. We're talking about just the reproductive system of the female. How she
Every month they have a period.
لا ما هو
they have a period. Bravo. Okay.
Produce milk for the child.
Produce. So you think that the breast is part of the female reproductive system? No.
yes.
It's not.
No?
No, breast is not part of the female reproductive system. Breast is part of what?
System.
Endocrine.
Very good.
Mister,
Yeah, it produces شو اسمه.
It's part of the endocrine system.
Lactates.
Gland
Mister,
that produces produce lactate or milk. يعني.
يا أخي لا تصرخ.
ما بعرف والله صرخ كثير هذا.
One by one. One by one. Farid,
when they get horny, their breasts become straight.
Can we use alternative terms? Go for arousal, excited, stimulated. Right. So when they get arousal, what are you saying? When they get arousal, what?
He's saying does the nipple get hard قصده when straight.
That's part of the arousal. It's all
He obviously knows about it.
nervous system will stimulate all whatever you're saying, nipples, mucus to be secreted, nipples to be raised up, whatever you already know about the female reproductive system. But the breast is not part of the female reproductive system, which is a common mistake that we all think of.
But Mr. It produces estrogen and the testicles they produce this.
Yes, so concerning the breast is not part of the female reproductive system. Today we're gonna start with the description of the structure of the female reproductive system. So let's see how much you're capable of labeling the figure. يعني ما شاء الله انتم ضالعين بالreproductive system of the female. So who can label Let me number them. You get to label them. So let's say number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the text. Add the text if you have the answer. Number 6, number 7, number 8. So here we have
number 6, obviously the eggs.
Okay, so here we have different sides. Female reproductive system picture or figure taken from different sides. So one picture is side view, one picture is front view, and one detailed picture from the inside of the body.
استاذ انا بقول لك 6 ovary.
6 is ovary, very good.
4 uterus. 4 uterus.
Sir, type it if you can, or you can type it, Farid. 4 is uterus. I'll type it for you.
Number 5, yeah. No, 4 or 5?
4 is uterus.
4
4 is uterus.
Mr. Number 9 is vagina, right?
Number 9. Yes, it's vagina.
Okay.
So number 9 is vagina. Type other than this. Number 7.
Labia.
Labia. No, not labia.
Isn't it?
What website you're googling through?
cervix uterus او uterus اللي بدك اياه.
Like it's the uterus. Number 7 is also the uterus, but from another side, another view. So also uterus. What about number 3?
Mister.
Number 1 is
Bladder. Bladder, yeah.
1 is bladder. Number 1.
Well, 1 is the vagina, isn't it?
Vagina, very good. Vagina. 2.
vagina.
Number 2 bladder, صح؟
No.
rectum.
Number 2 is the yeah.
Is the rectum.
يا أخي السؤال وش شكله غريب.
What's شو شكله غريب؟
بعد تمسك على
Number 3
أنت
is
صار
the
لك ساعة
bladder.
بتصرخ.
Number 3 bladder.
Right, number 5. What does it look? What does
Ovary.
5 look like? No, ovary. Already mentioned the ovary.
It's a tube, fallopian tube.
Fallopian tube.
Very good. Fallopian tube.
Fallopian.
Fallopian tube.
Mister, where is the urethra? مو صح هم they have 2 tubes.
You tell me.
One
Look at the
vagina, one
figure.
urethra.
Look at the picture in the
It's
corner,
below the bladder.
left corner, bottom corner.
2
This?
bladders. I mean,
Can you see the
2
bladder?
holes.
Can you
Yes.
see the bladder?
خلاص شفت this one.
So I will. Okay, if you're asking about
So the urethra is way smaller than the vagina.
here.
So
Can you see the green line here? That's where you
Yes.
find the blood, the urethra. So that's concerning the labeling of the female reproductive system. So now let's start discussing the structures and the functions of the structures. Starting with the most important thing you think of, which is the vagina. What's the function of the vagina?
That's where the
space for
Stimulates
the
the male reproductive system.
Very good. It's where the sperms are what?
dumped.
Very good. Deposited. And the position of sperms takes place in the vagina. Abdulaziz and Ahmed, stop leaving and coming back. I don't know what's happening with you. Type. So vagina is the location where the sperms are deposited. Type. What about the cervix?
Produce mucus.
Produce mucus? No. Cervix?
It's for the sperm to enter.
Cervix is through which, very good. It's the gate through which the sperms pass. And it's also the gate of the uterus.
What
What is the cervix made up of? What kind of tissues? Is it connective tissue, muscular tissue, epithelial tissue?
smooth muscle.
It's actually muscle.
tissue.
It's
muscle.
yes, made of muscles, smooth muscles. These muscles are they work in as they contract in order to prevent what? Why these muscles are always contracted? And they contract especially when during what? Pregnancy. For what? Why do they contract? to prevent.
So the baby won't fall out.
Very good. So that the fetus doesn't go out. Yes. So that's concerning the cervix is muscles that gates the uterus through which the sperms pass. هلا أكيد when you penetrate the female reproductive system, when you insert your male reproductive structure into the vagina, the male reproductive structure, the penis, maximum reaches to the gate of the cervix, means that you can't pass to the uterus, and your penis won't be reaching the uterus. Otherwise, your penis would be reaching the baby.
And
For the penis, and for the penis to reach the uterus, your penis should be too small because the opening of the cervix, as you can see, is too small. But what happens to the cervix during labor when the woman is giving birth?
It
Gets
opens.
stretched.
by
Like it's
a lot of times its size.
so it takes time to stretch, and stretching will give space to the fetus to go outside.
Is it painful?
So yes, it's definitely painful. That's why they scream a lot. So cervix dilation takes place during labor in order for the fetus to move out. So we can say that the cervix is the passageway of the sperms
طيب مستر.
into the uterus and the passageway of the fetus outside the uterus. Yes, sir.
How tall is the vagina, or how deep is the vagina?
Exactly. But that differs from one female to another, depending on the genetics, depending on the feature, the structure, and the body type. So we have different sizes. And Akil, you're asking this question because you're asking about the male penis. Does the size matter? Or should we go deep in order to deliver our sperms?
No, not really.
Not really, boys, because it's all what you have to do is to deliver the sperms into the vagina. And the sperms are microscopic cells. So let me color the sperms in green. So let's say that you deposit your sperms here at this point. Okay. The sperms, they start their journey, and as we already mentioned in the previous lesson, the sperm, they will be encountered and fought back by what? The acidity
Immune system.
because vagina secretes acids in order to protect the vagina and the reproductive system from, not the eggs, reproductive system from bacteria, infections, fungus, etc. And any kind of pathogens. The sperms are also considered as pathogens. So when the sperms are deposited in the vagina, they will start actually trying to make the path through the cervix. As they pass through the cervix, hundreds of millions start dying because of acids. Only a few hundreds make it to the uterus. And out of the 400 million sperms, most of the sperms die in the vagina, and only a few hundreds make it towards the uterus. So out of the 400 million sperms, you will have hundreds only left in the uterus or made it to the uterus. Because again, uterus also produces white blood cells and antibodies to destroy the sperms. Yes, sir.
How is the sperm cells deposited?
How deposited? When you reach ejaculation, you deposit them in the vagina. What kind of question is that?
يعني لا the left out sperm.
Left out sperm.
Get killed.
I mean, sperms are cells, and cells made up of proteins and carbohydrates, so they will be destroyed by white blood cells and digested, broken down.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the sperms, they start their journey from vagina through the cervix all the way through the uterus, and they keep heading towards the egg. But as you can see, are you following the green arrow? Now they have two exits. They have an exit from left and exit from the right. Where they would go, left or right?
Left.
Neither.
Well,
The
they're stopping at the signal. Either go right or go left. Where would they go?
So they need an egg.
There's a difference between the tubes, Mr. I think.
So how do sperms know the location of the egg? Is it right or left? And which one of the two ovaries? As you can see, female has two ovaries. That's one ovary, that's another ovary.
There'll be
Which
only one
one?
egg cell, right?
Which one produces the egg?
Both of them, but only one
Very good.
can go.
Both of the ovaries produce eggs, but alternatively, meaning that 1 month or one period produces, it's actually not 1 month, we're gonna say period. Every period they produce one egg alternatively, and one ovary produces the egg this period, the other ovary produces the egg in the next period. Meaning that both ovaries produce the eggs, but alternatively, and 1 month this ovary, the next month the other ovary. So let's say the ovary, this ovary releases the egg. I'm gonna color the egg in pink. So when the ovary releases the egg, okay, so when the ovary releases the egg starts its journey in the fallopian tube.
Into the uterus.
Into the uterus, very good. So I'll color it in blue. So let's say this is the egg. The egg starts its journey all the way down the fallopian tube. In order for the sperms to fertilize the eggs, the sperms must meet with the egg at the fallopian tube. And fertilization must take place at the fallopian tube. If the egg, for any reason, reaches the uterus, and let's say if the egg reaches here and fertilization takes place at the uterus, would a baby grow? Would we have pregnancy? And let's say the egg is right here now and it meets with the sperms at this point. Would fertilization take place? Yes. But would pregnancy take place? No. Meaning that this egg will continue its pathway, and even if it gets fertilized, it would continue its pathway and leave through the cervix and leave outside the body of the female. So in order for...
So it travels very slowly, right?
Yes. In order for pregnancy to take place, the sperms must meet with the egg where?
The fallopian tube.
Otherwise, forget about it. No pregnancy will take place. Meaning that if the egg is somewhere in the uterus, meaning it's too late for the sperms to fertilize them. So that's why the timing of the sexual intercourse is important. The egg is produced once every 28 days. That's something we'll discuss later. This egg, when it leaves the ovary, it remains in the fallopian tube for around 24 hours. And the movement of the egg is too slow. Now, as you know, the egg cannot swim. Egg is pushed down the fallopian tube by the action of what?
Peristalsis.
Contractions of smooth muscles.
Contraction of smooth muscles. In addition, the fallopian tube is covered with cilia, and the cilia propels in order to push the egg all the way down the fallopian tube. Are you getting what I'm saying? So
Yes.
fertilization at this point is not possible. It's possible, but no pregnancy will take place. Later you'll understand why. In order for the sperms to fertilize the egg, they have to meet or fertilize it at the fallopian tube, meaning that the sperms has to continue their journey from the uterus all the way up the fallopian tube. But how the sperms locate the egg? We speak about microscopic cells. We speak about cells that are around maybe 50 micrometer in diameter or size. How do sperms find the egg? That's the question. We speak about microscopic cells, meaning that the vagina and the uterus are huge structures. And if we're gonna compare, as an example, we're gonna compare the distance of the sperms, the distance that the sperms pass or cross, it's like you're walking from here to Abu Dhabi.
We're using chemicals. The sperm will follow some chemicals.
Excellent.
Yeah, they release chemical signals.
The egg has to release chemical signals in order for the sperms to find it. Otherwise, the sperms will be lost. And some sperms will be going right ways, and the other sperms will be going left, and they will be lost in the female reproductive system. In order for the sperms to chase, to find the egg has to release chemicals. It's like perfume. So these chemicals attract the sperms. So the sperms, they start heading towards the egg and they fertilize the egg. Only one sperm gets to fertilize the egg. That's something you already know. If two sperms fertilize the egg, fertilization fails. Why one sperm, not two sperms? That's the question. Why two sperms?
Chromosomes, the number of chromosomes.
Excellent. If two sperms fertilize the egg, meaning that you're adding one set of chromosomes, one extra set of chromosomes, meaning that the egg has 23 chromosomes and two sperms, each one has 23 chromosomes. Total will be like 69 chromosomes, which is a very good number. But the good number for
how do you have like more than one baby? Like,
that's when you'll have two eggs. That's when the egg divides after fertilization into twins.
Triplets.
We'll speak about it in the coming class, but ask me about it in the coming class. I promise I'll answer that. But for now, did you get what happens in the female reproductive system?
Yes.
Right. So that's concerning the reproduction. A kid, when the egg gets fertilized in the fallopian tube, it rolls all the way down and starts its division as it rolls down, and it lays down where?
In the uterus wall?
In the uterus wall, very good. And by the end, this egg has to reach the uterus wall. If the egg fails, the fertilized egg fails to bind to the uterus wall, also this egg will roll down all the way down. Very good. And this will be leading to, not miscarriage, will be having no pregnancy. Miscarriage is when the egg attaches to the uterus wall and the embryo develops, and then the embryo dies. That's when we call it miscarriage. But sometimes the fertilized egg won't attach to the uterus wall, and if it fails to attach to the uterus wall, it rolls down through the cervix and it goes outside through the vagina. Any questions concerning this?
No.
Okay, so that's concerning the female reproductive structure. You have to know the labeling, the function of each structure. Last question is, what's the function of the ovary? An ovary has two functions. What are they?
Produce eggs.
Produce eggs.
Relatively.
And very good. And second function?
Get rid of all the eggs.
No.
Produce the chemicals for the sperm.
Produce
female sex hormones.
Very good. Female sex hormones, which are the estrogen and progesterone. The female sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Just like as males, we produce from testes, we produce the testosterone in our testicles that makes us or gives us the male features. Ovaries produce the female hormones, which are the estrogen and progesterone, which gives them the female features. What are the female features?
Big boobs, big
having
ass,
breasts, having no facial hair, weak muscles, etc.
soft voice.
You know the details of the female features. Okay. Question: why don't they produce testosterone? Just like us.
They do.
Little
amounts of testosterone.
Okay, but why not in high amount, in large amounts? What's the genetic reason behind this? That's my question. What's
the X and Y? The X and Y.
Excellent. As males, we have XY, but females, what do they have in their genome, in their genetic material?
XX.
They have XX. They have double X. So since females, they have in their genetic material, they have XX. This XX will lead to the formation of female reproductive system and production of estrogen and progesterone. I'm trying to admit Farid, but it's not working. Okay, done.
Mr. Z,
Yes.
when an embryo is developing, I heard that they start all as a female, and then
your voice is okay. So can you start over, Ahmed?
Okay. You can hear me now, sir?
I don't know. Your voice is.
Mister, he's asking, do embryos start out as female gender?
do embryos start as female?
Yes.
Guys, we all start as same, no gender, but later on when the reproductive structures start growing, we start being differentiated into either males or females.
Or both.
لا, we can't be both. Okay, anyways, less than half a minute left, so any more questions? If you have any more questions, save it for the next class. That's it for today. Thanks for paying attention.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay at home.
You too, guys. Stay at home.
Take a
Please.
shower.
I will. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so again, when we speak about the female reproductive system, you should be knowing the labeling, and you should know all the structures of the female reproductive system and the functions of the structure of the female reproductive system. So, for example, if we say ovaries, ovary is are the organs that produce the ova. Ova is the other name for eggs or eggs, yes, or gametes. Gametes or eggs or ova.
Ovum.
Ova is plural, ovum is
Ovum.
singular.
Yes.
Ova is plural, ovum is singular. Okay, in addition, ovaries produce two hormones that we'll be discussing later on, which are the estrogen and progesterone. Mr. Yasser is joining. I hope it's Mr. Yasser. If it's not, I'll kick him out. Salam, Mr. Yasser. Hello, Mr. Yasser.
Please confirm your identity.
Please confirm your identity. Yes. Mr. Yasser, we need to know if it's you.
طلع شايتك.
If not, we'll kick you out.
طلع مستر ياسر.
طلع Mr. Yasser. I think it's someone that is still there.
Mr. Kick him out. Yesterday, our chemistry teacher also kicked them out because they didn't identify their identity.
Exactly, I just removed Mr. Yasser. And now Abdurrahman Maher wants to join. Right. From now on, guys, I think I will make a WhatsApp group for only the students from the class and share the password on your group. If you leak the password to somebody else, means it's one of you that's passing the password.
Sure.
Yani I'll make it more private than now. Now everybody knows that the password is 1234. Anybody from any other class can join this class with your names. Anyways, concerning the fallopian tube is where fertilization takes place, and it's the passageway for the ovary and the uterus. Uterus is where development of the embryo or the fetus takes place. Cervix is the passageway of the sperms to the uterus, meaning it's where the sperms pass through in order to reach the egg, and it's through which the baby goes outside during labor. Finally, the vagina is the site of the sperm deposition, and it's the passage for the baby during birth. Yani baby has to go outside through the vagina during labor. Any questions concerning the function? Yes.
The cervix. What baby emerges through it during birth? I not understand it.
Sir, if pregnancy takes place, where would the baby go from? They will cut through the stomach? Yes, they would do that. Not the stomach, they would cut through the abdomen. Yani. Sometimes they go for this procedure, but usually, normally, how does the fetus leave the mother's body? Through what?
Through the vagina.
Cervix. Very good. Cervix, then vagina. It's a passageway. Cervix, then
Vagina.
So cervix and vagina are passageways for the fetus to leave the mother's body if pregnancy takes place. If not, nothing will go outside except the egg. The egg might leave from the vagina. Right. So when we speak about female reproductive system, ovaries are the primary female reproductive structure. They are the size of almond, large almond. Each ovary is located on one side of the uterus, is anchored by an ova or gametes. How many? Remember, we spoke about male reproductive system. We said that male reproductive system produces 300 to 400 million sperms per ejaculation. So what about the ovaries? How many egg do they have, and how much they? I already admitted Abdurrahman Maher, ya Yusuf.
300 to 400.
How many eggs do you think is there in the female reproductive in the ovaries?
300, 400.
The 300, 400, they are. It's every menstrual cycle. Yani every period they release 300, 400, or they lose 300, 400. But in general, how much storage? And can females keep producing eggs forever? Yani, as long as they are alive?
No.
Or they stop producing eggs at a certain age?
No.
When they get old.
Very good. When they get old, as they get old, and by the age, starting from the age of 45, 50, 55, and between 45 and 55, and
Yes.
above, females, they stop producing or releasing eggs, not producing, releasing eggs. Meaning that females, they have a storage in their ovaries until 50, very good, or until 55 maximum. But females, they have a storage of eggs. Unlike males, as males, we don't have storage of sperms. We continuously produce new sperms. For females, yes, for females, they have a storage of eggs. Means that their eggs are already stored, not produced. So question, when did the eggs get produced? Do you have an idea? Yani when do females
During a
produce their
period?
eggs and store?
When the person is a fetus?
Very good. As they were still embryos. Females produced their eggs when they were still embryos. Yani they produced it when they were still in the uterus of their mothers. So females, they developed their eggs, they matured their eggs as they were still embryos or fetuses. Later, after birth, and when they are born, no more eggs will be produced. Yani whatever amount of eggs they have in their ovaries will have it till the rest of their lives. And every month after puberty, after they hit puberty, every 28 days, every period, they start releasing between 300 to 400 eggs, but only one egg makes it to the oviduct. Too much information, but I need you to focus. Yeah.
Where does...
Okay. Yeah. If we're speaking about reproductive system, okay, so let's say that's the ovary here. In the ovary, I'm gonna color the eggs in red. Inside the ovary, we have hundreds of thousands, but how many hundreds of thousands of eggs are stored? Some scientists say that it's around 200,000 eggs per ovary. Yani inside every ovary, we have around a storage of 200,000 eggs. These eggs were produced when they were still embryos or fetuses. So every ovary has around 200,000 eggs. Meaning that if we calculating both ovaries, means females, they have around 400,000 eggs stored, not produced, they are stored. Production of eggs has stopped since birth. Meaning
Mister, why are they stored?
In the ovary. Every ovary has around 200,000 eggs.
Yes, but why are they stored? Like, why?
For what reason? For being released,
Yes.
in order to be released. Later, when we study the whole process, you will understand why do they have a storage. These eggs, when they are released every period, every 28 days, and starting from the age of puberty. What's the age of puberty for females? Do you have an idea?
It's earlier than boys, like
11 or 10.
It's by the age of
11,
9.
maybe 12.
9.
Oh.
9.
By the age of 9, females, they start releasing their eggs into their oviduct by the age of 9. Means that females can get pregnant starting from the age of 9. Okay, it varies between one woman and another, but that's why, that explains why in Islam, for example, females has to wear hijab starting from the age of 9, because they would be capable of, or they would hit puberty at the age of 9. So by knowing this, you should be knowing that also that the eggs are released the eggs are released into the oviduct. But my question is, how many eggs are released every period? And out of
300 to 400?
Very good. 300 to 400. Yeah, let's say today is 28 days, starting from the first period, and 28 days passed from the first period. Out of the 200,000, between 300 to 400 eggs, they try to become the egg, the mature egg. Are you getting what I'm saying? Out of the 200,000, 300 to 400, they start their development to become the final egg. The final
what about
one
blood?
egg. Huh?
What about blood? When
We'll speak about blood. Right now, we'll speak about the egg, which is one cell.
okay.
So out of the 200,000, every period, every 28 days, 300 to 400, they start their journey towards a journey of development in order to become what we call it the mature egg. And out of the 400 eggs, only one will be released. Out of the 400 that start their maturation, only one egg is released per month or per period, which is 28 days. You getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Meaning that females, every period, they lose how many eggs?
Still, I have a question.
Every period, one, before I ask you a question, my question. Every period, how many eggs the females lose out of the 200,000?
300
One egg.
300 to 400.
To 400.
And how many of these 300, 400 make it to the oviduct and become
Only one?
egg? Only one.
Single.
Ask your question. What's your question? So only one king, I will call it king egg, or the queen, sorry, the queen egg.
Do females get their period at the age of 9 or 10?
At the age of 9 or 10? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Once they start getting their period, means that they become fertile. The 300, 400, Anthony, they degenerate and die. And only one of the 400 will make it as an egg, will become the mature egg. And the rest of them, they will simply, as we said, just degenerate and die. Useless, it's a waste, yes, but only one egg is released. Genociding unborn children? What do you mean by that?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when females hit puberty,
yes,
do they have a wet dreams like us?
La. Ejaculation, wet dreams for us leads to what we call it ejaculation, which is the release of sperms. But females, no, they have a system. We'll speak about the system, hormonal system, that releases the eggs at certain periods, every 28 days. Exact 28 days if they are healthy, mature, normal women. Again, the 28 days vary between one woman and another depending on emotional stress, on hormones, on drugs. But the rule says that every 28 days, the female releases one egg. That's the rule. Are there exceptions? Yes. Are there variation? 28, 27, 26, 29, plus minus days? Yes. But scientifically speaking, a female, healthy, mature, normal female will produce one egg only every 28 days. So this egg, as we already mentioned, it leaves the ovary and it starts its journey in the fallopian tube. This mature egg has different names. We can call it ovum and or gamete. And the egg, as you know, it passes through the oviduct waiting for the sperms. If the sperms reach the oviduct in the right time, they fertilize the egg. If not, this egg continues its pathway through the oviduct, and where does it head? It heads towards where?
Cervix.
Very good, uterus and the cervix, and it may leave it through the cervix to the vagina. And sometimes females would notice something that looks like a drop of blood on their underwears. It would be the egg. Egg is visible, is a visible cell. Not too visible, but it's a visible cell by naked eye. It's not too big. It's like smaller than a dust particle. It would look red in color, dark spot on their underwear, but it would be visible. Right. Question. So what controls the release of egg? And how does the ovary know it's today is the day where the egg should be produced or released?
Hormones.
Hormones, very good. Females, unlike males, نحن as males, we produce sperms continuously, 24/7. Right now you can go to the bathroom. I'll give you 5 minutes break. You go release your sperms. Meanwhile, you will be producing new sperms. There are no rules. Continuously, 24/7, our testicles are generating new sperms by mitosis, dividing new cells, new sperms. But for females, no. There is a clock. Later, we'll study the clock. There is a clock. And
follicle stimulating hormone.
Very good, excellent. FSH. This clock is controlled by 4 hormones. We'll speak about them. Aslan, you already know them, which are the estrogen, progesterone, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, which is luteinizing hormone. Those that we studied already in the male reproductive system. So 4 hormones, chief hormones that control the female reproductive system, the clock of the female reproductive system. Did you get what's happening here?
Yes.
Right. So what
Yes,
do we call, after, let's say, so we said that females, they start their period at the age of 9, puberty at the age of 9. So every 28 days, they lose 400 cells and only 1 egg is released. So if we do the math, females, by the age of 45, 50, what happens to all their eggs?
They run out.
Very good. They run out of eggs. Excellent. So they run out of eggs, meaning that they stop releasing eggs.
Mr.
Yes.
After they run out of eggs, can they get pregnant?
No, sir. No. If there's no egg, no fertilization, no baby. There must be an egg. So if sexual intercourse happens before 28 days, complete no pregnancy would occur. Yes. That's what Muhammad Tariq, that's what we will study in the coming slides. We'll be studying the clock, the 28 days duration. You will have answers about the blood. Why do they bleed? You will have answers about what is the best timing to make somebody pregnant. What's the best timing not to make somebody pregnant? And that's what you care about mostly. But later on, when you become husbands and you want to have babies, so when you get married, you want to have babies, and that's when you start calculating the days and counting the days where fertilization becomes possible. But as teenagers, if you're willing to have sexual intercourse and not to make somebody pregnant and deposit your sperms safely in the female reproductive system, you would do your homework and know the days where fertilization could be possible or not.
So what causes period cramps?
We'll speak about period cramps and why do they go through pain. So wait for the answers. I can't be explaining everything in one period. So functions of the ovaries. If we say functions of ovaries, which is production of 2 basic hormones, male hormones, which is estrogen and progesterone, and it's the one responsible of releasing the eggs. As we already said, the eggs that are released, they are released from the ovary, and every period, every 28 days, they release between 300 and 400 eggs. They start their journey in maturation. They start to mature. But only 1 egg, pay attention for this, only 1 egg reaches maturity at a time. And the rest of the eggs that start their journey of maturation, they degenerate and die. And it's a loss.
It's like the sperm, like the sperm.
Yes.
Between 200,000, we get 20 mature.
Between 3 to 1, yes. In the sperm, only 1 sperm survives, but here only 1 egg is released. Sometimes, occasionally, boys, maybe 2 eggs would be released. It's very normal.
Twins.
These two eggs, and that's when you'll have twins. But would these twins be identical? That's the question.
Sometimes.
Oh.
No.
No
Unless
way.
the cell divides.
And a boy.
When do, يعني نحن we have an example of identical twins in our class. So when do they become identical?
When the egg divides.
Very good. When the
Produces
fertilized
sperms.
pay attention. When the لا pay attention. When the fertilized egg divides. يعني I will make a small drawing on the slide.
Because the
When-
chromosomes are exactly the same.
Guys, exactly. So when you have one egg, and let's say you have one egg, and this egg gets fertilized with a sperm, one single sperm. So one egg and one single sperm. If this does fertilization, you produce a cell. If this cell, that's the first cell that we call it zygote. I don't know if you heard the name before. The first cell that results from fusing of sperm and egg is called the zygote. What happens to this egg, the fertilized egg, is actually that it starts dividing by mitosis. It's rare, but it would happen. It's rare, but would happen. If this egg divides, you will have identical twins.